So the meaning of the verb means to be accepted into university. And it also has 3 other meanings as well. So it can mean to start a career, to become interested in something, or to become involved in something. Have a think. Let me know, what do you think this verb is? Start a career, become interested in, become involved in, and to be accepted into university. Hi guys, and welcome back to your 30-day phrasal verb challenge. We're on to day 2 now, so we're really going to be getting into studying those phrasal verbs. Yesterday I just showed you the kind of grammar of phrasal verbs, and today we're going to be studying 10 phrasal verbs all about study or learning. But before we get into studying about our phrasal verbs, let me just remind you this is a full course. If you want PDFs to go along with these videos, as well as flashcards so that you can practice every phrasal verb that I show you in this course, and quizzes and games so that you can practice at home, you can sign up in the description. The link is in the description and you'll get all of that material so that you can really study it hard on your own at home and just get that practice in. So click the link in the description if you want to sign up, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell so that you know every day when a video comes out and you can follow along with our 30-day challenge. Okay, so let's start studying our phrasal verbs for today then. So our first phrasal verb is major in. This is really simple, it just means to study. That's it. Study specifically at university. You would major in a subject at university. Okay, meaning to study. For example, I majored in psychology when I was at uni. Simple, just means I studied psychology when I was at uni or university. Uni is short for university. We generally say uni instead of university when we're speaking informally. Okay, boom, done. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm not actually going to give you the phrasal verb for this one. I want you guys to guess what the verb is. Okay, so the meaning of the verb means to be accepted into university, and it also has 3 other meanings as well. So it can mean to start a career, to become interested in something, or to become involved in something. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about 5 seconds. Have a think and leave me a comment. Write a comment, let me know, what do you think this verb is? Okay, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. What do you think the phrasal verb is? Start a career, become interested in, become involved in, and to be accepted into university. You've got 5 seconds. Did you get it? This one is get into. Okay, so you get into university if you are accepted into university. For example, you could say, I can't believe it, I got in. I got in. Okay. Or you could say, I got into uni before my exam results came out. Okay, so you get into university, or you can just use get in on its own. I got in, if you already know the context of the situation. Okay. As I said to you before, it does have 3 other meanings, so let's just take a quick look at those meanings now in a bit more detail. So to start a career, meaning you would get into the field of something. So for example, is it easy to get into medicine? Okay, so you would get into and then the field of study or the career. Okay, become interested in. Okay, I got really into jazz recently. I became interested or started liking jazz. And become involved in. So he got into an argument with his girlfriend. Okay, so you get into a situation or you get involved in a situation. You would use this with a noun, usually. You get into something. Remember, you can find all of these meanings and extra meanings in the PDF in the full course. So if you want to know more about this verb, click the link in the description and sign up for the full course, and you'll get that PDF so that you can really study this in detail, because there are a lot of meanings for this verb. Okay. Alright, so on to our next verb, verb number 3, which is count towards. So count towards just means that something is included in an achievement, or something is included in a grade. Usually we often use this for a grade or a mark that you might get. For example, does the exam count towards our final score? Is this exam included in our final score? Okay. This word is inseparable. Okay, you cannot put anything in the middle. You can't count it towards. It's just count towards. Okay. Remember, some words are inseparable, some verbs are not. You have to keep them together and you cannot put a pronoun in the middle. This is one of those verbs. Right. So, were you listening? Let's have a test. Let's check if you were listening to all of those verbs that I just taught you. So, let's have a look. You guys need to fill in the gap, okay? What did you at uni? And the response is computer science. I'll give you 3 seconds to have a think. What phrasal verb fits that gap? Okay. Okay, the answer is major in. Which, if you remember, was the first verb I taught you, which means study. What did you study at uni? What did you major in at uni? Computer science. Okay. Alright, let's have another quick test. All credits from this semester will your degree. Okay, again, have a think. What phrasal verb fits that gap? I'll give you 3 seconds. Did you get it? Count towards. All credits from this semester will count towards your degree. It will be included in your degree. Okay, let's move on to number 4 then. Phrasal verb number 4, be marked down. Okay, this is kind of quite literal, so you have a mark or a grade. Down means lower, which basically means you get a lower grade. Okay, for example, you could use it in a sentence. The teacher marked me down for not showing my working out. You'll notice that this verb is separable, so we have marked me down. You have a pronoun in the middle, so you can separate that verb and put something in the middle. It's normally used that way. You mark somebody down. You can also use this verb in a passive way. You can say, I was marked down for not showing my working out. So you can use it either actively or passively. Okay? If you use it in active form, generally we put the pronoun in the middle. Okay, so moving on to number 5 then, to scrape through, meaning to barely succeed. So when I hear this verb, what I imagine is someone like running a race and they fall over just at the kind of final line, just as they're about to cross the finish line. They fall over and they kind of scrape through like that, like just barely make it over the line. Okay, they like scrape through. That's kind of what I think of when I hear this verb. You just succeed. You just get that grade, let's say, if you're talking about study. So the way we would use it in a sentence, if someone said to you, did you pass the test? You could say, yeah, I just scraped through, but I thought I'd do better. Okay, like I just passed. Maybe you got 1 point above a pass. You just scraped through. This verb is inseparable. You cannot put anything in the middle, a pronoun or a noun in the middle. It has to stay together. It does have another meaning, scrape through. It's very literal. So it just means to move through, but with very little space. So for example, the alleyway was so tight, but the car just managed to scrape through. Okay. So again, you've got very little space on either side of the alleyway, and the car's like, just like scraping through that alleyway. Okay. So if you scrape, generally you're in contact with something, like very lightly, but you're still in contact. So if you scrape through, it's like you just managed to get through. Okay, so that's number 5. Moving on to number 6, which is fall behind. If you are advanced level, you will definitely know this phrasal verb. If you fall behind, it just means you can't keep up with, or you can't stay at the same level as everyone else, or the same level that you're expected to be at. So it's like everyone else is here and you're here. Okay, so you fall behind. So for example, how would we use it in a sentence? I was sick for a week, so I fell behind with work. So you can use this for work or study. Okay, so you fell behind. Often if we use it with a noun, we would say fall behind with something. I fell behind with my homework, or I fell behind with emails, or usually with a noun. This is also inseparable. You cannot put a pronoun in the middle. You can't fall it behind. You fall behind with something. Again, this does have another meaning, and again, it's very literal. It just means to move, literally move slowly, or more slowly than other people. For example, she got injured during the race and soon fell behind. So again, everyone else was here and she was here. She fell behind the other people. Okay. So it doesn't literally mean to fall. It just means that you move slower. Okay, so that's 6 phrasal verbs we've got already. So let's have a quick practice then. So now you guys are going to write in the comments a few phrases for phrasal verbs. So I've got a wheel here with all the phrasal verbs that we've just studied together, and I'm going to give my wheel a spin. And when it lands on a phrasal verb, I want you guys to write a comment, write a phrase using this phrasal verb in the comments. Okay, so your phrasal verb was fall behind. So have a think, what does fall behind mean? And then leave me a little comment, write a phrase using this phrasal verb in the comments. Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds. Go ahead, write a phrase. Okay, hopefully you've written a little phrase there. I'm going to give it another spin. Let's do 3 so that you get quite a bit of practice. Okay, our next one is to count towards. So again, try and write a quick phrase in the comments there, to count towards. I'll be looking at your comments as well, and I will correct you if you need it. So if you want to practice and, you know, really get to be able to use this phrasal verb, then do write a comment and I'll correct you if you need it. So count towards, you've got 5 seconds, write a comment. Okay, and let's have one more spin. Let's have a look. To be marked down. Okay, that one was kind of one of the simpler ones. So again, leave me a comment with be marked down. Remember, you can use this actively or passively. It's up to you. You've got 5 seconds. Write me a comment. All right. Okay, so we'll stop there with our little practice. Again, if you want more practice, this game, a few other games and flashcards are all available in the full course. You can sign up in the description. The link is right in the description there. So click that and then you can have more of a practice at home as well. Okay, so let's carry on. We've got another 4 verbs to go. So number 7 is skim through. Skim through just means that you read something really quick. So you don't read super in detail, you just kind of let your eyes kind of go across the lines really quickly to get a general understanding of the text. Okay, so for example, I've not read all of it, I just skimmed through it really. Okay, so I just read it really quick. Again, this is inseparable. You can't say I skimmed it through. It has to be I skimmed through it. Always put the pronoun at the end. So that's really simple. There isn't another meaning for this. So I'm going to skip on to number 8, to bury yourself in. If you bury something, you usually hide it underneath the ground. Okay, so you would dig a hole, put something in that hole, and then cover it. But if you bury yourself in something, usually work or study, it means that you immerse yourself in that task. Okay, so there's only that thing that you're doing. You're really concentrated, really focused on that thing. For example, you'll have to bury yourself in schoolwork if you want to pass. Okay, you'll have to get really into it and immersed into it if you want to pass. You'll notice that it is separable because it always takes a reflexive pronoun. You always have to say myself, yourself, his self, okay? You bury yourself in something. That reflexive pronoun always goes in the middle of your verb and your preposition. This does have another meaning. The meaning is just to hide. So it's kind of a bit more literal. So for example, she was so shy that she buried herself in her room to avoid everyone. So it's like you're kind of hiding and, you know, like putting stuff over you so that you don't want to see anyone. Again, even with this meaning, it would take a reflexive pronoun. You bury yourself in something. Okay, we've got 2 more phrasal verbs left. Number 9. To pore over something means to study something really carefully with attention. So before we looked at the word skim through, which is to read really quickly, this is basically the opposite. It means that you read it really carefully, okay? Really study it for a long time, look at all the details, you pore over that thing, okay? We would usually pore over a book or some kind of text. For example, she spent hours poring over that contract to make sure everything was right. Okay, so she spent hours reading it really carefully. To pore over. This is inseparable. You can't pore something over. You pore over something. Okay, and our final phrasal verb, number 10, is to sail through. Which means that you accomplish something really easily, okay? It's so easy, you just kind of go through it, sail through it like you would on a boat, okay? For example, I don't know why I was so worried, I sailed through that exam, okay? It was really easy, it just dead simple, I sailed through it. Again, it's inseparable, you can't sail an exam through, you sail through an exam. We'd often use this with a noun. This does have a couple of other meanings, okay? So its meanings are to use something up really quickly, or the literal one is to travel on a boat, like you just saw in the photo. Let's take a look at some examples. So to use something up really quickly, you'd say, oh, you sailed through those biscuits, I'll have to buy more. Okay, so you get through something, you use something completely until it's finished. Okay, and to travel by boat, really literal, we sailed through the bay just before dawn. Okay, so we went through the bay on a boat just before dawn. Okay, so I've got one last test for you. Let's test you. Were you listening? Do you remember the phrasal verbs and the meanings? Let's test you. Okay, again, fill in the gap. I'll give you 3 seconds. So this is the last 4 phrasal verbs that we studied, okay? Not all of them, just the last 4. You don't need to read it in detail, you can just it. What phrasal verb do you think goes in that gap? You've got 3 seconds. Okay, it was skim through. Skim through means to read really quickly. So you don't need to read it in detail, you can just skim through it. Okay, and one last question. I've got an exam next week, so I'll have to my books for a few days. What do you think? You've got 3 seconds. Okay, bury myself in. Okay, you bury yourself in books, you bury yourself in work, in study, just meaning you immerse yourself in that thing. Okay. Okay, and there are all our phrasal verbs for study. So we've finished day 2 of our challenge. Remember, if you want more details, if you want PDFs with all the definitions, if you want flashcards, if you want quizzes and games so that you can really practice all these phrasal verbs at home, just click the link in the description and you can get all of that every day for the next 30 days. Okay, so that's everything for day 2. Join me tomorrow for day 3, where we're going to be learning phrasal verbs all about the house and home. I'll see you there. Bye.